Hello, fellow Sudokans, and welcome to Zen and the Heart of the Guardian Sudoku puzzle. It's Wednesday. I've got to put my glasses on to see the 18th of May. Oh, really? Dear, I've got some catching up to do at work. I must get on today. Right, this is the medium level Guardian Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah, I forgot to check, but I guess it's medium level. Tuesday, Wednesday are medium level puzzles. I'd just like to say before we get started how wonderful modern life is. Um, we often hear that negative things about living in today's world. The stresses and strains and horrific politics for one thing. But some of the great thing about technology is it's really made our lives better in so many small ways. I mean, I'm sitting here. I mean, I'm just drinking a cup of tea, maybe even with a tea bag. I mean, tea bags have been in for how many years? But when I was a kid, my grandmother used to make tea in a teapot, and used to take ages to prepare and that kind of thing. And the last few days, I've got some background stress in my life. It's some things that are concerning me that I can't really get rid of just yet. And I've woken up in the morning feeling not particularly great, feeling a bit down, a bit scared or whatever. And but what we can do now is we have things like YouTube on demand. And what I've been doing is just watching some funny videos. It's all there for us to appreciate. I've been watching the old Benny Dom series. Now, because I've been living in Thailand for such a long time, that's not something I ever saw on TV at the time, but I've seen it in recent years. I've managed to find out about this program and watch it. And it's so hilarious, these old series. So really, really brilliant writing, and it's such a funny program. That the laughter, just by laughing so much, it manages to relieve stress and strain and make life seem less terrible or terrifying. So this is just, but this kind of stuff never existed when I was a kid. We didn't really have any on-demand type stuff like this. I suppose the earliest when that arrived were video recorders, when video recorders arrived, but that was not when I was very young. So we have so many positive things to appreciate nowadays. It's just the fact that I can sit here and record something, and then just a few minutes after I've finished editing it, adding the titles, I can send it out to the whole world, and it's just amazing. All right, let's get on with this game of Sudoku. Now, if you are a beginner, I'll very quickly explain the rules. There are 9 squares in this row, 9 squares in this row, 9 squares in this row, and since it's a kind of square down, you'll notice there are 9 squares in every row. And since it forms a perfect square, there are 9 squares in every column. The art of this game, the aim of this game, is to place digits 1 to 9 in every square, across, down, and then in these small 3 by 3 grids like this. And we have 9 squares there as well. And so we fit numbers 1 to 9 in each row, column, or mini block. And each number can appear once only in its row, column, or mini block. That's the rules. Okay, not that difficult to follow, really, I hope. Excuse me while I have some more of my tea bag tea. Okay, so for example, this small block here doesn't yet have a 7. But when we look at intersecting 7s, when we look at 7 here, we know that 7 cannot reappear anywhere in this row. All of these squares are now eliminated as a 7 because we already have 7. So these 2 squares can't be 7. Now let's do the same with this 7 in this column. So we're interested in this block here. I mean, actually blocks all the way up the top there, but we're looking at this block here. And now we can see, because there are already numbers filled into these 3 squares, there is only one empty square here, which is not affected by either this 7 or this 7. And so we know that that is where we find the answer. Got it? It's not that tough to understand, is it? It's just a game of logic. It's nothing to do with maths. You don't need to be able to do any maths to play this game. Right. Okay. that's it. Off you go. Find the rest, please. And I'll have more tea while you're doing that. If you are still looking for the next number, maybe you should look over here. There's 4 blocking across here, 4 across here, and 4 down here, giving us a 4 in that square there. And apart from that, I haven't got anything else either. If you're new to the channel, you should know I don't work these games out ahead of time. I have no idea of the actual solution when starting these videos, so I have to find them as well. Okay, we have 2 blocking down here and 2 blocking down here, so this will be a 2, that square there, more time for more tea. About the Guardians medium level game, it's usually harder on a Wednesday than it is on a Tuesday. Monday is the beginner game, Tuesday is the easy plus beginner plus 1, I usually call it. It's slightly more difficult, but usually an easy game. And then Wednesday, well, it can sometimes be an easy game, and sometimes it is actually a medium level game. We really are never quite sure what they're going to supply. Now, I'm not sure if this is important, but what I have discovered is that the 3 and the 6 both block along this row here, and we also have a 3 and a 6 blocking along this row here. So in this block here, we are limiting our options up here. 3 and 6 must appear in these 2 squares. Okay, did you get that? 3 and 6 block along here, 3 and 6 block along here, so therefore these 2 squares must only contain 3 and 6, because these other 5 squares are expelled from 3 or 6, right? So now that we know that 3 and 6 are in these 2 squares, when we look along this row at the remaining 3 squares, we've got 1, 2, 3 here. We can discover that we have a 4 blocking this square and a 4 blocking this square. So we know that this must be a 4. Remember, 3 and 6 are here, so this can't be 4. 4 blocking here, 4 blocking here. We don't have a 4 in this row yet, so we know that that's where the 4 must go. Okay, did you get that? Hope you got that. 3, 6 appear here, 4 blocks here, 4 blocks here. That means this square must be 4. Now we'll take that 4 and say 4 blocking up, 4 blocking up, 4 across here, that's our 4 there, and now 4 blocking across this row and this row, and that puts a 4 just there. More tea. Now we have 3 blocking up here and 3 blocking up here, so we can place our 3 there. Now I want you to try to find a 3 in this column. Would you try that for me? I should call this Sudoku tea Sudoku, morning tea Sudoku. Right, okay, hopefully you've sorted it out now. Look, 3 blocks here, 3 blocks here, 3 blocks here, and 3 blocks here. So there's only 1 empty square in this column, which is not affected by 3s on the left. So that's our 3 there. Now, the art of playing Sudoku is deciding where to look next. That's always one of the trickiest things to think about. Let me deselect that because it's just a bit off-putting. You might think I'm looking for threes, but I'm not actually. Now, if you remember, I'll come back and say this again, but this 6 and 3 block across here, 6 and 3 block across here, right? So we know that these two squares contain 3 and 6, right? Now, let's think about this block here, and let's examine digit 7. Right, now remember, this is 3 and 6 here, so we've got 7. So when we say 7 blocking across here, and 7 blocking down here, we know that 7 has to fit in that square there. Let's do something else with this 3 and 6. Let's see what two numbers are missing in these two squares. Remember, 3 and 6 are here. Okay, so what don't we have? Well, we don't have a 1, and we don't have a 7. Okay, they must fit into these two squares, knowing that these two are 3 and 6. So these have to be 1 and 7. Well, we've got an intersecting 1, and we've also got a blocking 7, so we can find either way you want to do it. So 1 blocks down here, so this must be a 1. And indeed 7 actually blocked that number there, that square there as well, so we could have found it with the 7. And that shows that we can often find the same solution in different ways. Alright, now 7 blocks up here. So 7 will appear in one of these two squares up here, right? Must be. So that means 7 can't appear anywhere down here, right? Because 7 will be in one of these two squares because it's blocked up here. Okay, so no 7's allowed in down here. We have 7 blocking across here, 7 blocking up here, 7 across here, all surrounding this central square. So we know that that has to be 7 then. Okay, this 1 blocks this square here, right? That means that 1 has to be in one of these two squares. So let's extend that rightwards. This one extend rightwards, and we're left with just a single square here where 1 can appear. In this row here, we still don't have a 1 just yet in these empty squares. So I think if you look very quickly, you should beat me to the punch. Okay, so we've got 1 blocking both of these squares. We've got this one blocking this square, and this one blocking this square. So just that empty square there, which we sometimes call cells in Sudoku terminology. 1 empty cell just there. Now we have 7 blocking up here, 7 blocking up here, so this has to be a 7 fitting there. And then, can you find me a 7 in this block? Okay, well done. 7 blocking, excuse me, not like that, of course. 7 blocking up here, 7 blocking up here, 7. If I could only move my mouse in a straight line. 7 here, so that gives us a 7 there, and then we can say 7 blocking here and up here. So we finished 7. We now have 7 in every single one of our small 3x3 grids, and so there aren't any more 7s to look for. Down. Look, now it's a good idea to shift your focus. I mean, I've been looking up here quite a long time, so I need to look away now and look down here, because very often you need to shift where you are looking. So this 5 blocks across here, leaving just that 1 square there. 5 has to go there. Now we can get this number here because we can find out the two missing numbers here for sure. What we don't have to complete this block are 4 and 9. So we have a 4 blocking down here, so that's our 4 and a 9 here. And now there is only one empty square. But even if we couldn't have placed this 4 and 9, we would have known that 4 and 9 actually fit into these two squares, and we still could have got this square here. Right, you get the logic? Okay, good, well done. That has to be a 2 to finish this row. Missing numbers here now are 1 and 9. We have an intersecting 9. So the 9 appears there and the 1 is there. And we can say 1 blocking up here, 1 down here, and 1 across here. That's our 1. Can you find us a 1 here in this block? Okay, here we go. A 1 across here, or 1 across here, or 1 up here. That's a 1. Now there is only one other digit 1 to get. We've got 1 in every other block, so we can find this one for sure. We have 1 blocking up here, 1 blocking up here, 1 across there, so we know that's the final digit 1. So both 1 and 7 are now done. So we're just looking for everything else. This column here has only 2 empty squares, so that'd be a good place to look. So when we examine and find what goes in these 2 squares, what we discover is it has to be 2 and 6. Those are the only 2 numbers lacking to complete this column. And immediately we can see a 6 blocking this square, so we go 6 goes here and 2 is there. And so we should just check along here and see what's to go. In fact, one quicker way of doing it is seeing what is intersecting here, because we don't have much intersecting here. We have the 7 and the 1, we have 7 and 1 here, so that's not very interesting. But when we spot this 4, we think, aha, we don't have a 4 down here yet, so that's the interesting number to look at. So in fact, we'll do it like this: 4 blocking down here, 4 blocking across here. So we know that 4 has to go there, and now we can get this number to finish this row. The missing number is 8. Okay, these 2 we can't get yet because we don't have any other intersecting digits up here apart from 4, 7 and 1, and we've already got 4, 7 and 1 down here, so there's no point in actually working out what they are just yet. I mean, I don't know what they are, but I could work it out, but there's no point because there isn't anything else intersecting from on the high here, so it's just wasting time, right? Now, it's not that we're playing the game to go as quickly as we possibly can, but just we should use our time efficiently if we can, so that's no use. Let's look up here. This might be better because we've got quite a few numbers intersecting here. I'm not sure what goes in here. So the missing numbers in this column, to finish this column here, are in fact 6 and 9. Now we don't have any 6s or 9s intersecting here, but at least we can work out what's missing from here. If this is 6 and 9, this has to be 5 and 8. Now, as it happens, there aren't any 5s or 8s down here, and down here there aren't any 5s or 8s either, so in fact that didn't help us. But Sudoku is like that, you know, so you just have to look sometimes and see what you can discover, and it may be helpful or it may not be helpful. We're not always sure. So let's see what else we can find, shall we? There are 3 empty squares in this block here, so let's see what they are. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have 5, 8 or 9. Well, immediately I see the 9 blocking up there, so that limits the 9 to these squares here. We already know we need a 9 up there, so that's not much help. Are there any other clues on 9 over here? Well, we see 9 blocks down here and 9 blocks up here like this. So actually we know 9 is going to be in these squares, and then over here, is there any information? No, nothing. So 9 could be in any of those squares there, so that doesn't really help us that much. What else is missing here? 8. Well, 8 blocks across here, so that puts an 8 into this square or this square, but it doesn't help because up here 8 could be in either of these squares anyway. So that's not good. And the 5, well, no, we know nothing about the 5. The 5 can actually be in any of these squares at the moment, so that's no help either. So that wasn't much use, was it? So let's look along here, shall we? Let's see what's going on in this central grid here. So we got 1 already, 2 blocks up here, so that means 2 is in these squares here. Any no, sorry, 2 blocks down here as well and up here, so I take that back. 2 is in one of these 2 squares here, like this. 3, 4 we have. 5 is going to be in any of those squares. 6, now we can find the 6 because 6 blocks across here, 6 blocks across here, so we know that 6 has to be in that square there. And now we can use that 6 to block up here, and that will give us a 6 in that square there. And now we can get this sorted out over here, 6. If you remember, I said 9 and 6 were the missing numbers in these 2 squares here. If you didn't remember, it doesn't matter because you can still work it out like this. So you can see that 6 goes here. And now 9 is the last number for that column. And now we take that 9 and block across this way, 9 across this way. And we know that 9 fits there. Okay, so you see how the game just moves around, shifts around. It's no good being stuck in one place for too long. I was actually doing this block here, and we made some good discoveries here. So maybe I should come back and work on it again, see if there's anything else. So what do I know now? I remember that 2's were in these 2 squares. Now we've got 3, 4. Now how about 5? 5 now can only appear in one of these 2 squares. How about the 8? Well, okay, so look, 8 blocks here and 8 blocks down here. Right? 8 it has to be in one of these 2 squares because we have 8 missing now. So that means that this square here can't be 8 because 8 is in one of these 2 empty squares. So 8 blocks here, this 8 blocks here. And so now we know that these 2 squares must contain either 2 or 8. Right? Either 2 or 8 are in here. So that means we know that these 2 squares must be either 5 or 9. Can't be anything else. And now we can see that this 9 blocks that square, so we know the 9 goes there and the 5 goes there. Now actually you could have just worked that out in a different way, but that's the point about Sudoku, is there are often multiple ways to find the same solution. And just how you find the answer is your own prerogative, and really part of the fun of the game is defining your own way of finding these numbers. Just please don't guess though, that's the only thing. 9 blocks down here, 9 blocks across here. And so this is a 9 here, then 9 across this way, 9 across this way, and this is our 9. Then 8 blocks across here, so this is our 8. That means this must be 8, and this will be 5, the last number there, and this will be 5, our last number. Oh, sorry, pick the wrong key. 5, the last number in this block here. Now we have just one empty square in this row, which will be a 3, and then 3 blocks down here, so that's a 3, and now just one number to finish this block, which is a 6. 6 goes up here, 6 goes across there, that's a 6. What's left to play? I've forgotten what's missing here. 5 and 8, and then 5 blocking across there, that's our 5. Is it 8? Yes, it was 8 to finish. 8 blocks across here, so this will be 8. Missing numbers up here are 2 and 5. Actually, we can't get those. We still can't get those, even though we've got lots and lots of numbers down here. We're missing 2 and 5, but we still don't have any intersecting 2's or 5's. This will also be 2 or 5, and so no, we can't tell which is which just yet. But what we can say is, when we look across here, we see the 5 blocking that square, so we know 5 goes here. So the 2 is in that square, that means 2 is here and 5 is there. Now almost finished. Remember we had 2 or 8 in these 2 squares, so now we can say the 8 blocks here. So that's our 8, and this is our 2, which finishes the game. Our medium level Guardian Sudoku. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you understood the logic behind it if you're a beginner. And you know, just keep practicing, you'll get better, and the games will get easier and easier the more you practice. That's it. Thank you very much for joining me. Please subscribe to the channel and come back for more Sudoku. Bye bye.